Hey, what's up, turtles? Krik here with Black Owl Outdoors. I'm going to be sharing with you today some of my favorite bushcraft knives. And before Black Owl, I never had a collection of gear at all. Everything I owned, I used. But it's kind of nice now that I have more than I need. Either way. So bushcraft to me, what I want from a knife and how I use a knife right now, because I do not live in the forest. I don't. That's the reality. I wish I could, but I don't. So I like my knives, my bushcraft knives, to be comfortable in my hand because I like to carve with them. I like to do small tasks and I like to carve with it. And I can show you some examples of what I am talking about. I have 3 examples with me today, and these are all made from cherry wood that I got from actually my grandmother's front yard. But this is what I mean about what I like to do with knives and carve and do smaller things. I think we all know what carving means and what that really looks like. And these are small objects. This is a scoop I made, I don't know, for dry goods or coffee, whatever. I think it's kind of cool. You know, traps would fall into this line of like how you're using your knife. You know, just bushcraft tasks with a knife as opposed to, I don't know, you're using your axe for skills or anything like that. But these are things I like to do, and the sort of hand movements and size of cuts and work pieces I like to use with these knives. Here's what I brought out with me today. 2 multi-tools and 6 fixed blades. I have a little challenge for you though right now. How well do you know our channel? How well do you know knives? Can you identify everything that's sitting right here? Can you do it? Pause the video and leave a comment below and identify these 8 tools. I'm going to start down here with a multi-tool. And this is a Wenger Ranger. The reason I brought out 2 multi-tools is because they're basically little pocket kits, because there's multiple tools on a single tool. I guess that's the definition of a multi-tool. But I like this one because there's a lock on it. I press this in right here. It's a liner lock. I can close that, and has a real nice saw on it too. So you can take stock down, and instead of like beaver chewing through a piece of wood, you can saw right through it pretty easy. And I like these. You know, I use these. I use this and my Swiss Army sometimes, but they're just really fun. They're just really fun, but definitely not my first choice if I'm going to carve for an extended period of time. Moving on to this multi-tool. This is a Swiss Army Fieldmaster. Did a video on this, and I like this for the same reasons just mentioned before, because there's multiple tools on it. You can carve. There's a saw, and it's just classic in general. The only downfall of this is that these blades and tools are not locking, and as long as you're careful, you can really get away with a lot with them, but they're not locking. It's something to just keep in mind. But I do really love wearing this for EDC and other things. Starting at the fixed blades, here we go. Here's a sheath I made a long time ago for this knife. This is a big, heavy, thickest bushcraft knife I have in the lineup right now, and get the side there so I don't have to worry about saying it. You can read what's on there. Maybe not. It's a Fieldcraft by the Brothers of Bushcraft. B.O.B. it's called. You see it, Bob. Tops Knives. And I really like this knife for a few reasons. It's heavier than the other ones, which makes it nice if you want to be able to get some weight behind it and swing and take some, almost do like, you know, you would with a hatchet if you're trying to take stock down to carve. It's nice for that purpose, and has some jimping up here, and the handle's not uncomfortable, but definitely not my favorite knives in this lineup. And I like all these knives, and they're all my favorites, but I have to sort of divide them somehow. But nonetheless, this is a really nice knife. It's sharp, and it is really comfortable to use in the hand, just not as much as others. Moving on, next to that one, this is from LT Wright. I really like this knife as well. This is the GNS, the Go No Show. Has a really nice contoured handle for multiple profiles or directions. And if you'll notice a trend on this, most of these knives are Scandi. That Brothers of Bushcraft I just showed is sort of like a modified Scandi or Scandi Vex on there. This is the same type of deal. It's a hard buff right at the edge, but generally speaking, they're Scandi grinds with maybe a micro bevel to some degree. And I really love that for carving wood. Not the most durable or strongest edges, but for carving wood, I believe nothing can beat them. Después, another one of LT's creations. This is the Genesis. Again, a really nice knife, Scandi grind on there, mirror polish on that edge. Classic, more of a classic style bushcraft knife with the broomstick handle, or old-timey knife if you will. And this is nice as well because the tip's sort of in the center, but what I guess I don't want to say I don't like about this knife, but for straight carving purposes, I like the fact, or I don't like that this is just a wider of a blade, wider this way. I would prefer to be a little bit narrower, but nonetheless, still more than functional and a favorite of mine. Now these last three fixed blades I'm going to show are my favorite of my favorite knives. We're going to start down here. This is a sheath I made. It was a boneheaded move. It's I accidentally flipped it, so it's on the left side of the body, but I still love this sheath. These rubber handles, textured handles, can make it sometimes really difficult to get out of the sheath. This is the Mora Companion. Not the heavy duty Companion, just the Companion. And I love this knife because it's a thinner stock than the heavy duty. We all know why we love Moras, right? And super comfortable handle, really, really comfortable handle to use for extended periods of time. They're super easy to sharpen and inexpensive. And I really do love this knife. I know some people are like, it's a Mora, you know, beat on it, destroy it, doesn't matter, it only costs 15 bucks, but that's not how I view things. Each thing I buy is with an intended purpose, and I do my best to take care of it and not, you know, mistreat it. Anyways, Mora Companion. Our next knife in the lineup is, did you get this one right? Did you guess this one right in your comment? This is actually the first sheath, my first leather project I ever completed. And that was whenever I had surgery on my foot last year. Still love it, still works. And the knife in here is the Mora Classic one. And might not look like it because the handle, I was trying to do a project on this, took off the original paint and finish, try to give it like a distressed look. And I think it came out okay. But I like this knife just because it has a more of a, I don't know, old-timey look just because of the wooden handle, the wooden birch handle. Nothing fancy, rattan, or this bolster cap. You know, just sort of just a real classic looking knife. But it is super comfortable to use. It really is. The shape of this handle, sort of that swell in the middle right there, tapered at each end. It is really comfortable to use and manipulate in the hand for extended periods of time. And it's really light. It's really light. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. This is my favorite of favorites of favorites. I really like the setup within the sheath. I made this sheath. You've seen this a lot. This is in the Dangler video. I mean, you've seen this sheath a lot. But this is a knife I designed and had custom built. And why it's my favorite? Well, maybe because it's my design. You know, it's my idea put into reality. But the material choice, the colors, the shape, the subtleties for things that make a difference to me when I'm using a knife for carving, the thinness of the stock, this is my favorite knife. And maybe I'm biased because I designed it, but we all live with biases, correct? Right? And unfortunately, the fellow who I had made this is no longer in the knife making business. It was Tyndall Knives, was this company. His name is Forrest Tyndall. I think it's Tyndall or Tyndall. But he does photography now. He does a lot of knife photography and outdoor photography. He really has an eye for the western landscapes which he lives in, but he did a really great job at this, and this is my favorite of all favorites at this time. So yeah, there you have it. We have more bushcraft knives than what I showed in the video, but these are my favorite, and for reasons I mentioned. And there's just something so therapeutic about using a sharp knife in your hands like this. that I guess, I don't know if I can describe it, but for those of you that do it and enjoy it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I guess this could be kind of dangerous, right? See how I'm doing all these little cuts real close to my thumb, and it is to a degree. But a sharp knife is a safe knife. So, do you know why? You know why a sharp knife is a safe knife? If you do, drop me another comment below. And yeah, while you're at it, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, because it lets my brother and I know that we're doing something right and you like what we're doing, and can sort of help us tailor the type of videos we create for y'all, the audience. So if you have any questions about anything on over any of the knives, I didn't really go in depth with each knife just because for sake of brevity. So if you have any questions, again, leave a comment, let me know. This is Krik signing out with Black Owl Outdoors. Later, turtles.